All right, guys, welcome in. Where's my camera? There we go. My bad, guys. Welcome in to July's edition of Behind the Beat. Back here again, and today we're going to be talking about a track from my most recent project, When Love's the Motive, that came out at the end of May. This one is called Afternoon. I believe it's track 4 or 5, somewhere in there. But this is one of the more energetic songs on the project, and I wanted to kind of give this a little bit of shine, especially since it has probably the most elements in it out of the majority of the tracks, and a little bit of things we can talk about and we can get into today. Um, Firstly, I think I want to say, everybody that's been checking out this album, I really appreciate it, whether you support it on Even or you just been checking out on streaming or Bandcamp. Either way, I really appreciate everybody for checking it out. But if you haven't yet, I'll have the links in the description of the video. You can take a listen to not only this song, but the full project itself. So again, thank you guys for checking it out. But let's get into the track today, Afternoon. And what I started with for this one, little sidebar, this one was made in July of 2023. So 2 years ago, almost to the date. Don't remember making this. I made this apparently sometime before I took my trip to California that year. So, it is a little bit of an older track, but this is when I was really finalizing this project, was mid to end of 2023, because this project was really done for a while. From there it was just the planning of it all. And I kind of mentioned that doing the last few beat breakdowns for Chance It, Solar Shores, Real Home, those tracks were all made around the same time as well. But this one, like I said, this is a bit different than the other tracks. It has a lot of energy, high octane energy, not really high octane, but just a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more upbeat. And it gave me more of like a Southwest style vibe, mostly from this sample right here, which is the main element. This sample has some guitars, it has some brass elements. So I'll play you the original version here. And I believe it, this original version, it is also chopped up a little bit. Or it's not, well, it's obviously chopped up, but it is, I believe I sped it up a little bit. Let me actually check to see if that's true or not. Let's see here. Yeah, so I actually made the pitch a little bit higher, and I think I slowed it down a little bit, but making the pitch higher kind of changed the texture of it from what it originally was. But I'll play you kind of the pattern that it came in initially before I resequenced everything. So it's pretty much just that. It's got that nice little guitar section ending with some brass elements. Some, I believe, some trumpets in there. So I kind of wanted to just rearrange that in a different way for the main part. So let me get to this real quick. So let's hear that by itself first. So that is pretty much what I came up with. From there, I knew that the drums would have to be next because I wanted that to be the next element that was going to drop in regardless. I figured I could start out with having that be the beginning because it does have so many different textures to it, which I love so much. But I wanted to have percussion that was going to match that energy. And 99 BPM, that's kind of the borderline, right? It could go one of two ways. You could be still going more for the down tempo if you're going for like boom bap or something like that. or you could make this a song that is a little bit more upbeat, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I found this drum fill, rearranged it, and this is the drums on their own. So it's got the shakers in there. It's got elements of dance drums, which again, I think that matches perfectly with that sample. Next up is the bass line, which is from Morphine, which I was using a lot that year. I'd say 2020 through 2023. I occasionally use Morphine every now and then, and I mentioned it to you guys before. This one is the acoustic bass. So, again, matching with that guitar, I wanted to have a bass that sounded more natural. So, here's that. That bass just gets the job done. You know, it's never been a bass that has wowed anyone, but it's subtle and it sits where it needs to, and it just gives an authentic guitar sound, which I love. Next up was a sound from Pigments. This is an analog sound. Help if I actually pulled up Pigments. There we go. It's called Analog Decamera, and it's got more textures of an actual string element. So I was going for, high pitched string element for the hook. Classic sound that I would go for. So let's hear that. Again, patterns very simple, only designed in there to complement the other elements. And the last element that I had was these hats that also go with the drums. I want to say I put a delay on these as well. I did. So when you hear the actual drums, you hear these hi hats coming in at certain parts, mostly toward where that hook is, and you hear they're kind of delayed, so you can actually hear that when all the elements are playing. But let's hear those by themselves. So the delay is also very subtle, but it does just enough. And I felt like it went with the shakers that were in the drum loop as well. So I kind of just wanted to complement that and just let we're kind of moving through this different section of the song. Let's actually hear those with just the drums too. So if you didn't know any better, you'd think it was all part of the same fill or the same loop. But I think just giving it some differentiation, like I said, in those different sections is a big thing. So that's pretty much the whole thing. Added a low pass filter to the very end on the outro. Um, Other than that, that is pretty much it. So let's hear this track pretty much in full. That is Afternoon. Like I said, I felt like that was one of the more different types of tracks compared to the other 9 on the project. Because a lot of it is more emotional. I guess this has, a different type of emotion in it. It's just more upbeat and vibrant and stands out a lot more. I feel like this is like a perfect summertime type beat. So I'm definitely aiming to get this in some different playlists because I think this one has a lot of potential. But yeah, for a beat I made 2 years ago, still not bad. I think it still has a lot of value to it. And like I said, I appreciate everyone for checking out the album so far. When Love's the Motive. If you haven't, like I said, go check it out in the description of this video. The links, whatever you want to support it on, whether it's even or a streaming platform, doesn't really matter, because I just appreciate everybody that's been, taking a listen to that and really any of my stuff and watching these videos too, of course. So we'll be back next month in August. Another new track. It's actually going to be, I'm not going to tell you the title just yet, but it's going to be the first single from my next album that's coming out this fall, which I'm super excited about. So we're going to start diving into those singles here for the next project and just kind of keep it going. But thank you guys again for tuning in.